everybody, and welcome back to the Mindful Dancers channel. My name is Karen, and today we are coming to the discussion portion of Satya. So grab yourselves a cup of coffee, grab a notebook or a pen if you'd like to take notes, and let's go ahead and get started. Let me first start off by saying yes. I have been gone a while since the last video that I posted, but May is usually a busy time for me. Actually, I work 2 jobs, and so I've been busy with recital and all that, and it actually went very, very well. So now that dance season is over for me, I can spend a little bit more time into the channel and creating lovely content for you guys. All right, so getting into our discussion for today, we are going to be talking about Satya, or truthfulness. And actually, I was very open and honest with you guys about where I was. So it's kind of a good leeway into our discussion today. So let's first talk about what is Satya. So Satya, or truthfulness, is, in the simple terms, basically living our truth. That's basically what Satya is. And it can be under lots of things. So the practice of truthfulness inhibit both speech and action. It includes being honest with ourselves as well as with others. It calls us to live with integrity and authenticity. And this practice of Satya is really essential for building trust and respect in relationships, whether that is student to teacher, teacher to studio owner. It could also be in your family or as well as a loved one. So it is very, 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 very essential, and it fosters that sense of inner peace as well as sense of awareness. So that's a little bit of what Satya is about. So now there are many different types of insights that go into Satya. And actually, I had a little bit of fun planning out this video. So I'm really, really excited to be getting into all of the details. So for the practice of Satya, it begins with self-awareness. Before we can be honest with other people, we must first be honest with ourselves. So that means being honest in our own thoughts and our feelings and in our behaviors, so that we can notice these things and work on them if anything needs to change in our behavior or in our thought patterns, or how we react to certain types of things that are happening around us. It's having the courage to acknowledge our own flaws and shortcomings. So especially as dance teachers, we're always reflecting on how we can do better as teachers so that we can foster a safe environment for our students. And we'll be getting a little bit more into examples later in this video. So by cultivating this self-awareness, we can better understand our motives and intentions, like I just talked about earlier, and being more truthful, in our interactions with others. The next thing is, when we are being open and honest with others as well as ourselves, in order to be truthful, we must do so with compassion and empathy. And remember, we talked a little bit about ahimsa, so that's where this comes in as well. So we're being honest in a way that is respectful and kind, which again, it comes back to ahimsa. avoiding harmful or hurtful speech when we are speaking our truth, whether we are being honest with others. We're not doing it in a harmful, hurtful way, but we are approaching truthfulness with compassion, with empathy, and that will in turn cultivate more meaningful and authentic relationships. The third insight is humility and open-mindedness, especially in the dance world, because we're always being open and honest with anything that has to do with our job. So the practice of Satya, it requires us to be humble and open-minded and to be willing to consider the perspective and experiences of others. So that means being open to feedback, constructive criticism, and being willing to admit that we were wrong in, let's say, a conversation or an action that we did to that other person that we know was harmful. So it tells us to reflect on that we were wrong and admit that maybe we need a little bit more work in this area, so forth. And by approaching with the humility, with the open-mindedness, we then cultivate a sense of growth and self-improvement. The fourth insight, building trust and respect. So Satya, it's very, very essential for building trust and respect in relationships. It demonstrates a sense of integrity and authenticity. It helps us to foster deeper and more meaningful connections with others and to help create a sense of safety and security in relationships, building a sense of community and collaboration. That's especially important into the dance world, which again, we'll go into examples of that a little bit later. And then the last insight, that this practice is not easy. It is challenging, but there are many rewards that come with this consistent practice. So it requires us to be honest and truthful, even when it is very uncomfortable. When it's uncomfortable to that other person or to yourself. It's not easy. So those are the insights into Satya. So now we're going to get into the examples of Satya, especially when it comes into the dance world. So our first insight was cultivating self-awareness. So first example I'm going to give here is you, the dancer, are at an audition, or you are in dance class, or you are in rehearsal, whatever it is that you are doing. So again, going back to that sense of ahimsa, self-harming thoughts, feelings, reaction to feedback. So if someone who's at the audition table is giving you the feedback, how are you responding to that feedback? Again, tying into ahimsa. Notice if you are thinking of thoughts that are very hurtful towards yourself. You're being open and honest of those thoughts that come up for you, especially when you've been given constructive criticism, whenever you've been given feedback. So it's being honest about how we are reacting to that certain feedback that your teacher or that judge at the table just gave you. And we're also being honest with the actions, how we reacted to that feedback. I hope that makes a little bit of sense here. And it also, you, the dancer, have to be honest with what you need to work on technique-wise and think, okay, so I'm going to be honest about the fact that maybe my turns are not the best. So I am then going to keep working on this certain turn, that type of thing. So hopefully that is a good example, and hopefully that makes sense. If you have any examples of that, why don't you let me know in the comments down below. All right, so then we go into the second insight, empathy and compassion. Now I'm going to talk to my fellow dance teachers here, speaking as a fellow dance teacher myself. We have to have the hard discussions with students, especially if you are working in a pre-professional school and you hold auditions where students have to level up. And when you notice this dancer might not have improved, and you have to have the hard discussion of, hey, I'm sorry, but we think that it's best that you stay in this level to keep working, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So again, you are speaking your truth, and you're being honest with this particular dancer of what they need to work on. So that's dance evaluations and so forth. This also can attribute to dancers. Some of the dance world, you are going to run into fellow dancers who are not the nicest people in the world, and they probably do something to you that was really hurtful to you. And you come up to the teacher and tell her or him, hey, this happened to me, something's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Again, that is an example of speaking the truth to the teacher. And when you are open and honest with your teacher, again, you are building trust in the teacher, and you know that they're going to help you and so forth. Again, not the best at speaking in the world, but I hope these examples are making sense to you guys. All right, the third insight, so humility and open-mindedness. So a great example of this is when you are in class, when you take in feedback or corrections in class from the teacher. Excuse me. So dancers, know that it is a teacher's job to give you corrections, to make sure that you have the tools to improve yourself. Okay, that is a dance teacher's job. And teachers, it is your job to create that safe environment and to give students those tools so that they can succeed. So it is the dancer's job to also listen and to be open-minded and to apply that said correction. So again, it's this concept of building trust, and respect for dancer and teacher. Okay, so again, you're building that trust there. Another great example is when a choreographer is taking in feedback about their work. So this can apply in a professional setting. This can also apply in a college setting as well. I've taken choreography class when I was a student in college, and I had to be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to feedback that the professors gave me, and to really be honest and say, maybe they are right in this. Maybe I can find another way to fix this. So that's one great example. Another example I teach a Monday Night Modern class at a local studio that I work at. And they took my dance to a competition that was a little bit out of state, not super far, but it was like out of state. And the owner, who's actually my boss, she gave some little changes every now and then to make the dance look a little bit better and to, you know, help students with stuff that they were getting confused about and whatnot. And so when we met one Monday night, the students went over with me some of the changes we made. So again, the point I am trying to make here is that I was very open and willing to consider the perspectives and experiences of not only the studio owner, but also with the students. And again, I had to be honest with myself in saying, maybe this part works in this little section here. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And it looked a whole lot better. So again, you're building trust and respect between teacher, student, and also studio owner. So again, I was very willing to be open-minded to take in any feedback, any changes that were made and apply them, or if I didn't want to apply them, that was literally up to me. So another way here. Another example I had for humility and open-mindedness is collaborating with students, especially when I do choreography with the girls. I'm mainly talking about the older students. With younger students, they don't have that concept just yet. So I'm mainly talking about my high school kids. Say, I don't know, like 14, 18-year-olds, that type of high schooler. And I love to listen to their ideas about certain formational stuff and again, building trust and respect. I'm being open to the ideas of older students. And again, it is up to me if I want to apply that or not. But again, I'm building that trust. I had to humble myself here and be open-minded to the older students when they say, hey, this isn't working out. We were having a little bit of trouble with this. Maybe we could do it like this, blah, blah, blah. Again, you're collaborating here, building trust. I sound like a broken record right now, but it's super, super important in the practice of Satya that you're building this trust here. So again, those are examples of humility and open-mindedness. So if you have any examples for me, leave them in the comments down below. I would love to see them. All right, the next insight, and I'm going to sound like a broken record again, building trust and respect. So as the old saying goes, respect is a two-way street. So you have three different types of respect. Student to teacher, or teacher to student, teacher to studio owner, and so forth, and director to company member, especially if you are a professional dancer in a professional company setting. Director to company member and the opposite. Okay? So I'm going to talk to the dance teachers here. It is your responsibility to create a safe environment for your students so that the students can trust you. You're building a trust with your students, and you are establishing a connection and a relationship with your students. Okay, that is the teacher's responsibility, and it's also the director's responsibility to create that safe environment for their members so that they can thrive and be I cannot speak today. So that they can thrive and be successful. Now, for students, you have to understand that the teachers are giving their time and their knowledge to help you guys be successful. Okay, we were students once. All right, so it is very important that you are respecting the teacher's time and the teacher's knowledge. All right, and you have to be respectful of their time because they are giving you the tools so that you can be successful, especially if you want to take up dance as a career someday. That relationship is extremely important. Now, for teacher to studio owner, it's very important as the employee to be open and honest about what's going on in the studio. Okay? When you've built that relationship, when you are open and honest up front, that is a good little note for the studio owner that they can trust you with their studio or that type of thing. And then the last point here, it is that this practice is not easy, challenging, but rewarding. Okay? Especially for teachers and studio owners. Okay? It is not easy to have those hard conversations with your students. Okay? It's not easy to tell a student that they're not moving up to a certain level placement. It's not easy to tell a student, hey, we think that you should wait to move into the competition team next year. You need more improvement, or blah, 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 that type of thing. But know that you are doing what is best for the dancer, but also what is best for the studio as a whole. Okay, those are hard decisions to make. And again, speaking that truth is not easy, but you know that it is for the best of the dancer, it's the best interest of the dancer, and the best interest of the studio. So think about that when you are having those hard conversations. Now, I'm speaking to everybody now, dancer, teacher, studio owner, whatever. It is overall very hard to speak your truth, okay? But I think I watched I had a quote somewhere from Olivia D'Andrea. I was watching one of her videos. She's on YouTube. She's actually pretty cool. I've never met her. I'm just saying she sounds like a cool person. But she said to reach for what you want. You have to step out of your comfort zone. So in order to get what you want, you have to be open and honest. You have to speak your truth and step out of your comfort zone, even if it's not going to feel good at times, okay? The truth, sometimes it doesn't feel good. Not all truths feel good, okay? But in order to get what you want, you need to step out of that comfort zone in order for your truth to flourish and thrive. Okay, so in conclusion to this discussion, the practice of Satya, it is a practice first and foremost. So is ahimsa. It is a practice. So it is a constant practice. And this is where our yoga, our meditations come into play, so that we can take the time to tune in to what's going on in the body, to tune in to what's going on in the mind, to set our moral compass so that we can flourish in this practice when we go out into the dance world or when we go out into the real world. All right, so that is it for our discussion of Satya. Hopefully this helped you guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's start the discussion process. So leave any feedback, questions, comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so that you can keep going. And then next we'll be going into the yoga portion of our next yama, which I don't have in front of me. I know what it is. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know what it is. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Cheers if you have a cup of coffee, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.